Hi, I'm Barbie Romero, Director of Event Programming at MediaPost. Welcome to our Brand Insider Series Backstage exclusive. This is your chance to ask our past brand insiders what's on your mind. Today, our spotlight is on Kristina Fields, Senior Director of Global Media from Hasbro. Welcome, Kristina.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. So I'm excited because I grew up with a lot of Hasbro products. And there's so many of them, and the first question from our audience is how do you know which product to focus on a day-to-day basis?
It's a great question. So yes, so Hasbro is a portfolio of brands, a house of brands, if you will, where we have some of the most beloved brands from your childhood, Nerf, My Little Pony, Monopoly, Peppa Pig, just to name a few. And every day is honestly, it's a bit different. But at the start of the year, we have a general idea of which brands, we consider to be our big bets, the ones that have, all the stars aligned in their favor, if you will, like a strong presence at retail, out of aisle, layered media plans, PR support, all of that. So those are the ones that we really look to ensure have the gold package, if you will, because we can't support every single brand to that level. So we definitely have brands of focus that are the ones that we know have the most, I would say the best runway to succeed for the year. So we want to make sure that, that's how we support them well from a media perspective.
Okay, good to know. And another question from our audience is, what is your favorite brand to work on since there's so many?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I'd probably say our gaming category as a whole, there's so many brands within it. If you think about it, Guess Who is one of my favorite from childhood. But obviously Monopoly, we have a new expansions pack, which is actually just launching now. I would say there's something in that portfolio for everyone. And, my kids are actually getting to the point now where they're a bit older, and it's been really fun to hold family game nights at home. So I would say gaming.
That's great. I actually bought I had a Monopoly board, but I bought a new one because you
There's
guys made a Queens edition. I'm from Queens in New York,
yes,
so
there's so many. There's literally a monopoly for everyone out there. I swear. It's wild.
and then I also saw Sailor Moon one, and I'm like, I just need to. I'm just gonna collect Monopoly boards from
I
now on.
mean, it's a thing. There are definitely people who collect them, and there are plenty for you to collect.
Yeah. So another question from our audience is the retail media aspect. So you manage that
Yeah,
side of the business, correct? And you
correct.
have any advice on how these marketers can align that data and avoid overlapping audiences?
Yes, I love this question. So this is something actually that me and my colleague Jennifer Birch, we've actually spoke about at one of your conferences. So one of the best point of advice I would give to someone is to, if possible, align as close as you can with your brand media team, because Jen and myself, we together oversee the entire global media portfolio here at Hasbro. And what we've actually realized is aligning the two factors together in terms of, we talk about upper funnel, lower funnel, mid funnel, all of those things. It's really important to make sure that you're staggering your activity. So if you're creating the demand, with brand media up top, then how can you make sure that, your retail media tactics and lower funnel are converting? So it's imperative, if you can, have those things sit in the same team is one of the biggest learnings that we have found. We've used to be very separate and siloed, and in doing so, we've actually been able to track specifically within Amazon, what happens when you can have all of that stacked together and you can move your investments around, to ensure that if you see something working, that you can really, hit that fire with something else to ensure that you are capturing, that full conversion across the funnel.
Thanks for that advice. And another question that they also had was, how do you measure balancing brand affinity among children and the purchase intent amongst parents? So you have like two targets in a way when it comes to
Yeah,
like the like Peppa Pig or like the smaller the
yeah,
toy for smaller children.
yeah. It's a great question. And actually, one that it's great that you brought up Peppa Pig, because in those instances, I would say that, there could be several targets. There's also, we have a teen target, but if we're going to use Peppa Pig as the example, I would say that it's really important, again, to create the demand with the kid. So really ensuring that you're showing up in places where kid is consuming content. So if you're talking about a preschooler, that would be within, Peppa Pig actual video content, show content, because IP is really important at that age. And then what you want to do is create that brand affinity among children, because then there's this thing that we refer to at Hasbro called the nag factor, which, kid is talking about Peppa Pig, kid is engaged with Peppa Pig content, which then for a parent, you're like, okay, like my kid loves Peppa Pig. When I'm shopping on Amazon or I'm shopping in aisle, I'm going to pick up Peppa Pig products. So it's really important that if you think about it, it's creating the demand with kid to essentially encourage the parent to purchase. They need to seed the ask. One story that we always say is like, when mom and dad is Christmas shopping, they're not going to go rogue. They're not going to go like buy their kid Bluey if they've never talked about Bluey. Bluey's a competitor. But if they're engaged with Peppa Pig and they're watching show content, then mom and dad's likely going to purchase something Peppa Pig because they know kid's gonna like it. Mom and dad always want to be the hero on Christmas, never the loser. So you tend not to stray if your child is asking for something specific.
I love that, the nag factor.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing.
That's good to hear. So then the next question is, what emerging marketing trend are you like most excited about? Is there one that you also think is overhyped?
Oh, I mean, I would say AI in general, I feel like is the buzziest thing that's happened since the metaverse, most likely. But I would say that AI, I am excited about from a process perspective. I just think that there's a lot of efficiencies that, from a work smarter, not harder perspective, in the sense of just, getting things done, ways to just kind of get the minutia of the day to day out. But I do feel like it's very much, like AI is not going to replace people. You still are going to need, that human touch. So it's very much that art versus the science. AI. Wow, say that 3 times fast. So I think that there's a little good, there's a little bit of bad, but I do think that at the end of the day, specifically in our industry, it's important to make sure that there's a place and a time for all of the things.
Yeah, great. And we're part of the show that I'll ask you some rapid fire questions.
All
So are you
right.
ready? Quick answers only. Uh,
Okay.
well, you already said it, but do you have another Hasbro product that you loved growing up?
Oh, okay. So I mean, I think immediately I would say My Little Pony. It's
Yeah.
just like, friendship is magic, a gaggle of gals when you're a little kid. They all, sparkly hair, colorful, cutie marks, all of those things. So I would probably go there first.
Great. What is one app you cannot live without? It could be either a personal or a business app, but yeah, like if you have one that's maybe efficient, that could be one too.
This is not going to be exciting, but I would say Amazon, just because of a mom of three. I can't tell you how many times I have been saved because I need to order something and it's on my doorstep when I wake up the next morning. So I would say it's efficiency, convenience, and just the
Yeah.
fact that, it has everything that you possibly could need.
So, and then the last one is I usually ask, what is a marketing term you love to use? I'm flipping it on its head.
Oh,
Normally people say, what's a word that you hate? But this time I'm
yeah.
asking, what's a word that you love to use all the time, I guess.
So this is very unofficial, but I tend to speak in squiggles when it comes to budgeting, because it's just like, when you put a little squiggle in front of something, it doesn't make it so precise. So like, our media budget could be squiggle X amount of dollars, right? Versus giving a specific thing, to the point where like I say it in conversations and people are like, what? And then like I've heard people adapt it. So like maybe it'll catch fire on this little answer and thing that we're doing here, but squiggle is my official marketing term that I'm putting out
Squiggle.
in the
Okay.
universe.
Whenever I want to not give a number, I'll just say squiggle from now.
Squiggle. It makes it just a little, it makes it a little fun and a little less official.
Yeah, sounds good. All right.
Uh,
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Christina.
it's been my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Hey, and thank you to the audience for tuning in. If you have any other questions or would like to be featured yourself, contact me at barbie@mediapost.com. Take care.